My name's Angelo, and welcome to Picks Nation. That's right, this is our second YouTube channel, and we are growing this, so our UFC 294 content is here, and the betting content is likely going to stay here as well. So if you know us from We Want Picks, where we have over 18,000 subscribers, make sure you subscribe here as well, because as we build this up, we're going to split up some of the content. I'm going to go ahead and give you our bets for UFC 294. And you may be saying, well, this is an all favorites card, Angelo. This is super easy. I don't think so. We've got some solid underdog spots, and we are trying to avoid the inevitable landmine that we always find on cards like this. Before I jump in, let's talk about premium membership. It's only $10 a month. For $10 a month, you access all the bets, all the picks, all the tools, all the insight, all the information from 7 different people. One of those tools is the line movement tracker. This is going to give you the opening odds, the current odds, and the win probability for every single fighter on every single card. And you can use this to work yourself in or out of a bet. I used it this week to work myself into a bet, and I will explain that in a minute. This card has 2 different fighters that opened as underdogs that will close as favorites, and 6 fighters that have had more than 20% line movement. You're also going to get detailed data, metrics, and analytics. This is incredibly important on Fridays when BetOnline and actually DraftKings now as well drop some of their takedown and significant strike prop bets. You can very easily work your way across and see how many takedowns one fighter is averaging versus the other person's takedown defense. And you can work your way into a bet or out of a bet and say, well, this line's way too high, let me go the under. You can use this data to do anything you want to. And you may say, well, I can go find this data online. Sure you can. If you want to spend 8 hours sifting through 10 different websites to build it, we built it for you. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member. Let's go ahead and talk about some of my more confident favorites and confident underdogs. I'm going to share the actual bets in a minute, but I think this is important here because, yeah, most of the favorites on this card will win. It's a very favorite-heavy card. And I've left some of the favorites off of this list because, like Javid Basharat, yeah, he should win. He's minus 600. There's a lot of other favorites with better value, and that's why I have here. Shara Magomedov, minus 280, minus 245 if you go to BetOpenly. The reality is he is a nasty striker. He's been competing in different striking martial arts his entire life. He is fighting a very tough striker in Bruno Silva, but Bruno Silva has been dropped by these last couple of opponents. He was dropped and then submitted by Brendan Allen, who is not known as a powerful striker. He was dropped by Gerald Mearshart, who's known as a chinny grappler. And now he's going to go ahead and fight Shara Magomedov, a guy that has 10 knockouts in 11 fights and has ripped people's heads off of their body. Clean off their body. Blood everywhere. Clean off their body. Shara Magomedov should absolutely get it done. I think we're getting a discount because he's a UFC debut and because people are like, oh, his record is hollow. He's destroyed every human being they put in front of him. What else do you want him to do? Then we got Magomed Ankalaev, one of the more boring fighters on this card. He is fighting Johnny Walker, and I think he's going to get it done. Johnny Walker, if he tries to be technical, which he did in his last fight, Magomed's going to light him up. Magomed's a way more technical, way more skilled fighter in this matchup. He should absolutely get this done. Khamzat Chimaev and Islam. I do like the favorites on the co-main or in the co-main and the main event. They were already on this card. Their opponents are both short notice. Alexander Volkanovski already lost this fight. Islam has already won this exact fight. He already won it. And now they're going to run it back with Volkanovski on short notice, and somehow Islam is more affordable. I don't get it, but I will take those odds. And then Khamzat Chimaev, minus 330. This is probably a tougher matchup than the Paulo Costa matchup. I think you could just take Paulo Costa down whenever he wants to. Now he's fighting an American college wrestler. Might be a little tricky, but again, short notice. People are going to say up a weight class. That doesn't matter. Both of these men have made 170. And everybody wants to talk about the knee pop controversy at the open workout. I don't necessarily think that matters either. I think age matters. I think Usman's a little too old, 2 losses in a row, short notice, the other side of the planet, hostile territory. And we're getting Khamzat Chimaev, who's going to come forward, stay in his face, wrestle if he wants to wrestle, strike if he wants to strike. I like Khamzat here. Minus 330 seems fair to me. Then a couple of solid underdogs. Muhammad Yahya, plus 145. This guy opened at a massive minus like 6, 7, 8, 900 favorite. And then the line completely flipped and went the other way because the reality is, yes, he's 12-3. Yes, he's the local guy, but he does get hit. He doesn't have great wrestling, and his opponent, Trevor Peek, hits like a freight train and has a chin. He has no takedown defense whatsoever, not even a little bit. So if Muhammad comes out, gets a takedown or a half of a takedown, he could win this fight. Frankly, this is a 50-50 fight. I do think Trevor Peek wins. But if I'm looking at underdogs, there are spots on this card. You have to find the spots. It's not an easy card, underdog-wise. I think Muhammad Yahya is one of the better underdogs on this card. His opponent sucks. Trevor Peek kind of sucks. He's early in his career. He has all the tools to be something someday, but, I mean, his striking is wild. His wrestling is non-existent. He just has a great chin. He's mentally, that guy is there. He wants to go out there. He wants to win that fight, and he's determined. Not a pussy. That guy is not a pussy. And he's been winning fights based off of that. If Muhammad Yahya can somehow keep it technical, avoid the big power, touch and go with the striking, working a takedown, he can win this fight at plus 145, sure. Abu Azaitar, I do have a bet on him, and I will share that with you. Plus 205, this is another wild, I get it, he's old. He hasn't fought in a few years, but he's a seasoned brawler. That's what he is. He can brawl. He has all the tools in the world, but he's really just going to stick to trying to take your head off. He's fighting SD Dumas. This guy has one win in the UFC. He got smoked by Josh Freem, absolutely smoked by Josh Freem, who's not very good. And then he beat Cody Brundage after Cody just decided to suck. Cody was just pulling guard, making terrible fight IQ decisions, which gave SD Dumas that win. There's another situation. SD Dumas, I don't think he's there technically yet, but he is tough. He is gritty. He is focused. So I'm being very harsh on him, but mostly his skill set because he just hasn't been doing this long enough. Abu Azaitar is by far the better fighter. He's probably a little too old, a little too slow. He may not win this fight, but plus 205, the better fighter who's going to stand there and throw bombs. I don't mind that, and I do have a bet on that, and I'll show that to you. Muhammad Naimov, plus 270. Yes, he's a big underdog here. He's fighting Nathaniel Wood, who has proven time and time again that he is tough. Nathaniel Wood is coming off that Andre Fili war. He looked like a man in that fight. He was dropped. He kept coming forward. He dropped Andre Fili. That was a great back and forth fight. It showed us that Nathaniel Wood is tough, but it also showed us the dude gets dropped a lot. Almost in every fight is he in some sort of trouble. And then we have Muhammad Naimov, who hits like a freight train, doesn't get frustrated if he's out-grappled, doesn't get frustrated if he's outstruck. We just watched him play spoiler to Jamie Malarkey on short notice. Now he's down a weight class with that power. He was at 155 on short notice and knocked out Jamie Malarkey. Now he's at 45 with a camp. He's going to have the same power. And he may have some cardio. Muhammad Naimov looking like a decent underdog. And then Jin Yu Fry, plus 400. The bet there is probably over 2.5 rounds. The bet there could potentially be bet the spread. I wouldn't moneyline Jin Yu Fry, but the reality is she is a tried and true seasoned veteran. She is insanely strong. She's got a whole bunch of skills and techniques. She wants to work you to the cage, hold you there, kind of drag you to the ground, grind it out. We have seen her lose. But lately, at 3 in a row, as a matter of fact, but lately she's got knocked out in that one fight. But we're seeing her lose because she's a step behind in the striking. She's aging, right? This is not a graceful sport when you get a little bit older. She just took down Elise Reed 3 times, was a step behind in the striking. Her opponent, Victoria Dudekova, is a grappler. I don't know if we've seen Jin Yu Fry just completely bodied out grappled, let alone by a 20-something without wild amounts of experience. I think Jin Yu Fry is not a bad underdog at all. This middle column, these are Bet Online's odds. The Bet Openly odds are to the right if you want to check that out. It's not a sports book. It is peer-to-peer betting. So if you go ahead, you want to throw a bet out there, another human being somewhere in this universe will grab that bet, and now it's your money versus their money, and the loser pays up. Let's talk about my actual bets. I went parlay heavy. The odds on this card are not fantastic. So I parlayed my more confident picks together. Moneyline, the only moneyline bet is a quarter of a unit. Unit for me is $100, so I have $25 on Abu Azaitar at plus 205. Nothing crazy. I do think he's probably a little too old, and that's why it's only a quarter of a unit. But those odds are incredible. I mentioned earlier, I eat my own dog food. I drink my own champagne. I use the line movement tracker. He was plus 145 a few days ago. I saw it inching its way up. It got to 205. It's been sitting here steadily, so I went ahead and placed the bet before it goes back down. If it takes off and somehow he's plus 500 because maybe the weigh-ins, he looks old, I don't know. I might add a little bit more. The reality is everything that I just said earlier stands true, and I threw $25 on it. A prop bet. I parlayed the over 2.5 of Bajorat and Henry Javid Bazrat's not very dangerous. Victor Henry does not get finished. And Dudakova and Fry. I mean, yes, we just watched Fry get finished a little while ago, but that was big power in the striking. This is going to be a grappling match between both of them. I don't necessarily see Fry winning by TKO or submission. I don't see Dudakova getting a submission. So I think it's just going to be probably a boring-ish type back and forth fight. Minus 113, almost even money, but only a half a unit on that because I am worried about the Dudakova Fry part of it. But if you did Bazrat Henry all by itself, you're at minus 330 or something. Then I've got two more money line parlays. I did take Bazrat and Ikram Aliskerov at minus 196. I put 1.5 units on that to basically get my money back. I think Javid Bazrat is just so much better than Victor Henry. He should be able to outstrike him, technically speaking. Victor will come with the volume, but then Javid should be able to work in the wrestling. And then Ikram Aliskerov. He's fighting Warlley Alves. Warlley Alves stepping up on short notice. Warlley Alves already has no cardio. Short notice isn't going to help that. Ikram, insanely dangerous wrestler, and now we know he has very good power in his hands. The next parlay, I have Shara Magomedov. All the reasons I mentioned earlier. This guy's an insane kickboxer. Bruno Silva is chinny as hell. He's been dropped in a couple of his last fights. And yes, he did not get dropped. He managed to go toe-to-toe with Alex Pereira, but that was a couple of years ago. A lot has changed since then. And then Magomed Ankalaev. This guy's he's boring, but he's insanely technical, can wrestle as well. He's very good everywhere, and he's fighting Johnny Walker. Johnny Walker's big, athletic, fast. He has to use all those things to win this fight. Johnny Walker can win this fight, but he's got to catch Ankalaev. He's got to come forward, be crazy, spin, do all that stuff. He has not done that recently. That SBG Ireland gym has basically ruined him. Yes, he's on a nice little 3-fight win streak, but they have sucked the excitement out of this guy, and this is the one fight where you need wild Johnny Walker. So we're not going to get wild Johnny Walker. I think Ankalaev wins this fight. Let's take a look at the safety parlay. If you're a premium member, it's only $10 a month. Just go to WeWantPicks.com, click Become a Member. You will unlock the safety parlay. I give you a parlay every single event. I put 1 unit on it. We call it the safety parlay. Sometimes the odds are a little better than other times. Right now, these are decent odds. Minus 114 on this parlay. And when I placed it, it was minus 114. You might be able to get a little bit better now. The reality is this hits at an incredible rate. If we take a look, we have had 11 months worth of safety parlays. And in 11 months, the safety parlay has netted 19.7 units of profit. That means you got all your money back. And then on top of it, 19.7 units. If you average that out, that is 1.78 units a month. And if the only thing you ever did was pay the $10 for premium and then jump yourself into the safety parlay, yeah, you'll lose a few. Nobody's batting 1,000, but over 11 months, 19.7 units of profit, 1.78 units a month of net profit from this one single parlay alone. I did give you 2 last week for UFC Vegas 81, the base hit, the 3-leg hit. This week, you got a whole bunch of parlays, but just one single safety parlay that I am pretty confident in. Again, unlock this at WeWantPicks.com. Just click Become a Member. Let's take a look at Jacob. This is Thursday. All of the other prop bets drop on Friday. The takedowns, the significant strikes, the winner of the first round, those all come out on Fridays. So he will hit those, and the 11 units he has on the board now will probably flex up to 15, something to that effect. He's got Muhammad Naev money line. He got plus 270 odds on that, and he threw a half a unit on it. That is his underdog lock of the week. Makhachev Elliott under 2.5. That is a plus money bet. And then Trevor Peek wins inside the distance, decision, no action. Those are phenomenal odds for that. This dude is a big favorite at this point. Minus 150 if he wins inside the distance. If he finishes this dude, he'll get minus 150. But you get a full refund if it goes to a decision. So if he loses a decision, which can happen, Trevor Peek's insanely tough, so I don't see him getting finished. But if he loses a decision, Jacob gets a full refund, 3/4 of a unit on that. He's got 10 more units on the board right now for premium members. And if you want to take our actual money, like my money from my pocket and Jacob's money from his pocket, join Bet Openly, grab the other side of our bets. We put 2 bets on the board every single week. The anti-lock of the week, or Jacob puts his lock of the week bet on the board every single week. So you can grab the other side of it. If you win, if Nathaniel Wood wins, you literally put Jacob's money in your pocket. You could buy a sandwich, take a picture of it, throw it in the Discord, and just absolutely clown that doofus. Also, the anti-safety parlay. I put the safety parlay up there. The way parlays work with Bet Openly is you don't need both sides to lose. You just need any one fighter. If I did a 20-leg parlay, if one fighter loses, you get all that money. You win. Your bet hit. Mine didn't because the parlay lost. To basically become the house. WeWantPicks.com. Click become a member. WeWantPicks.com/BetOpenly to hop into BetOpenly. Join the Discord to grab these bets. The Discord is 100% free. If you're a premium member, you unlock all sorts of things like alerts and other channels. But the actual Discord itself and the chat, all of that is free. And don't forget, I will send you $50. Just go to WeWantPicks.com/bets. Use our link to sign up with any one of our affiliates. Make a deposit, and we send you $50 as a thank you.